new car will cost you. AutomotiveMap.com is your place to see reviews, check out the hottest exotic cars, read tales from the road, and get acquainted with the luxury automotive lifestyle. Into hot mods, cars celebrities drive. Love a good job.
Yo.
From off-roading to on-roading,
Hello.
AutomotiveMap.com has it covered. Visit AutomotiveMap.com today.
Had to help Bill get into an interview. So
Bill Schmidt?
Bill Schmidt.
Isn't he on like late tonight?
Yeah, but he's recording one for later on.
That's early.
Now. I know, made him wake up. Wake up call.
Rocket. You that financial boost you're looking for. Call today at 8338-ROCKET or go to rocketmortgage.com to learn more.
Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLS number 3030.
This is a Gow Media property in partnership with Jacob Media.
Set your system's volume control for slightly above the normal listening level.
Let's go. Second level thinking is defined as looking beyond the easy, obvious conclusions.
You got to do some smart thinking.
Welcome to The Second Level on the SportsMap Radio Network, a show where we go beyond the box score.
Presented by Rocket Mortgage. Home loans that fit your life. Rocket can.
Live from the O'Reilly Auto Parts Studios, here's Eitan Shander.
More COVID, more possibility of postponement. And yet here I see Stallone trending. I open up Twitter for the first time in a little bit because early in the morning, unfortunately, I have to just peruse the timeline. Not mentions, of course, but timeline and see if the world is still intact. And no, I did not sit in front of my television and watch a debate. Here's what I don't understand about these debates. We are at a point right now. I've been on this planet a long time, 42 years, which is a long time. Just look the next time and watch the clock go to 2 minutes. And look how long that lasts, 2 minutes on the clock. We're going to break in 2 minutes. Imagine how much damage I can do in 2 minutes here with a microphone in front of my face. With that said, in 42 years, I have never seen people care less. And this is not any criticism. This is just an observation. I have never seen anybody, the majority of the voting public across the board, I don't care who you subscribe to, who you vote for, any of that, care less about any and every issue and care more about just their person stomping the other person into the ground. You're not there is nobody out there that is still undecided that is planning on voting. And if you've already decided on who you're going to vote for, why would you need your candidate to say anything more? Especially in today's polarizing time in which you know for damn sure there is not anything at this point that the other side. Can you imagine somebody who is voting for Biden or voting for Trump after one or that ticket, after one of these debates, saying to themselves, you know, that other guy or that other woman, they made a lot of sense. I'm going to change my vote as a result. Nobody in their right mind is going to do that at this point. Mainly of any elections, especially this one. You could have watched baseball last night. You could have just sat back and watched baseball last night. I'll tell you why Stallone is trending and what the NFL is going to do with COVID coming up next. And we'll talk. Yeah.
Is constant.
I'll be right back.
All right.
Management, your dedicated advisor will work with you to create a personalized plan for your full financial picture. One that can be adjusted as your needs change to help you stay on target. Plus, they can let you know what you're paying for and why. Learn more at fidelity.com/wealth. Investment minimums apply. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC.
Pro Extra is the Home Depot's free loyalty program built for pros. Members earn perks just for shopping, like new Pro Extra dollars or tool rental perks. Get exclusive benefits every day that save time and money. And here's an extra, $20 off your next in-store purchase of $200 or more, just for signing up. Want to save? Join Pro Extra, only at the Home Depot. How doers get more done. Visit the Pro Desk in-store or at homedepot.com/proextra for details.
The United States Postal Service has been around since 1775, and since then, you can rely on the Postal Service to make sure what matters to you gets to your mailbox. You'd think you couldn't improve on that. But now, with informed delivery notifications, you'll know when those important packages and letters are coming to your mailbox, with an email every morning telling you what's on the way. It's the reliability of the United States Postal Service matched with the technology of today. It's time to get peace of mind. Sign up now for free at informeddelivery.com. Informed Delivery. If it's in the mail, it's in your email.
Customers, students, and staff expect a new level of clean. Cintas has the essential products and services to help you carry out cleaning protocols effectively. Cintas performs surface sanitizer and disinfectant spray services to common touchpoints, installs and refills touchless hand sanitizer dispensers, and provides commercial laundry services to help minimize employee exposure. Give everyone the confidence they need to keep coming back. Visit Cintas.com and get ready for the workday.
Jay Farner here, CEO of Rocket Mortgage. Making the right financial decisions has never been more important. When you turn to Rocket Mortgage, we can help guide you to those right decisions now when they matter most. Mortgage rates are near historic lows, so now is a great time to call 8338-ROCKET. And if you need some extra money, a cash-out refinance could give you that financial boost you're looking for. Call today at 8338-ROCKET or go to rocketmortgage.com to learn more.
Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLS number 3030.
Liberty Mutual Insurance Company presents. And Doug.
Okay, class, let's bump it up to 9.
Come on, Limu, keep pedaling. We got to build our endurance to let more people know that Liberty Mutual customizes your car insurance. So you only pay.
Keep pedaling.
Pick up the pace, bird legs.
Man, these commercials are just awful. You know?
They are. I'm not a big fan of them.
Scratching beneath the surface. It's the second level on the SportsMap Radio Network.
Presented by Rocket Mortgage.
From the O'Reilly Auto Parts Studios, here's Eitan Shander.
Well, we have more and more information coming in regarding the Titans right now and what's happened down there. And don't listen to Torrey Smith and don't listen to Ed Werder. That's all I can really say right now. I don't think people understand still how this virus works right now, and it's ridiculous. Somebody would tweet out that the Titans should take a loss and then play next week. Can't play if you're infected. And we're still trying to figure this out. We're still trying to understand the nature of the spread and how things became to the point where you would postpone or suspend a game just entirely, just remove it. Now, I don't know that by any means you can continue to play or prepare to play for this week. This game has to be done. Another positive COVID-19 test. Saw this from Schefter and Pelissero as well. Doesn't look good right now. 23 total positive COVID-19 tests since September 24th. The team's facility remains closed. In-person activities still prohibited. Now, there's some up in the air gray area about when a rule came down versus when the Titans might have broken that rule, which is one positive case. They shut things down, and the players were allegedly practicing with each other, of course, the next day. And then, according to a lot of people's timeline, the NFL came down that day, but we're trying to figure out if it was during the practice, before the practice, after the practice. If it's after the practice and the players don't have anything specifically on the books that prevents that, they may have a little bit of room to work with. A group of Titans players photographed at a local high school practicing together after the NFL shut down their facility. That is the major question mark right now about whether or not they truly broke protocol. We spoke with Teresa Walker, who covers the NFL, yesterday about that down in Nashville. There still isn't a specific timeline where the directive came down. But at the same time, you should know due to common sense. And Teron Davenport, Philadelphia's own, covers the Titans down in Nashville for ESPN NFL Nation. League memo was sent to teams on October 1st. The players at that high school did so on September 30th. Here's the thing, though. And at some point, you are going to have to take on personal responsibility for your own actions. And I don't necessarily think you can hide behind this timeline. I wanted to get it out there so people understood all of the facts in question here. As far as now formulating an opinion, are you telling me that these players did not know the inherent risks of COVID-19 at the time in which they formulated that practice at the high school on September 30th? Like this was a brand new virus. We had no idea about any of the protocol that could or should be in place. And they just went on just to do it because at this point, who knows? Granted, we still have a lot more to learn specifically about the virus. But at this point, by September 30th, players knew full on the dangers and concerns you should have about congregating following a following a positive result. You had a positive result in your locker room, in your team. They shut the facilities down. This is not like something happened 2,000 miles away where you were on the road and you took on a team and a player over there tested positive and now everybody's back here. And, well, come on, guys. Nobody here tested positive. I understand that the facilities are shut down from a precautionary method, but come on. Nobody here tested positive at all. We can go out and practice. We can congregate. We can go ahead and run some plays. This was your own building, your own teammate, and as a result, that you didn't need to have. Don't lawyer this, okay? Don't get on here and try to defense attorney this and lose friends by the second. Well, this league memo, really came out at a time in which they didn't know because it was a day after. A day after? You really are going to plead ignorance on this? If you're not going to get away with pleading ignorance for speeding, going 15, 20 miles over the posted speed limit, how the hell are you going to get out on this one? And again, I'll read you Teron Davenport's tweet verbatim. And I love TD. This league memo that was sent to teams on October 1st is important to consider. The players that gathered at NBA did so on September 30th, the day before. If this was in a vacuum, a complete 100% vacuum, then I would say there's no issue here. Then I would say that the players didn't know what was right or what was wrong. But anybody who has been on this planet since February knows exactly what you've been told to do or not to do. Why in the world would this be different from any social restrictions or protocol that would be put in place? Anything that would happen if you come into contact with somebody in your day-to-day outside of your job, in this case, playing for the Tennessee Titans. How in the world is that any different? You're at the grocery store, you're at outside, you're at the park, you're interacting with your kids' friends. How would this be any different at all? And that in its own right is negligence and irresponsibility that should be punished. It should be punished. Now, you can't force people out there if they don't have a team. You can put a loss on there. If this is the case right now, despite, and it's a shame that people are going to argue this point, because I think you lose all credibility with the dangers of this virus. Like, I better not catch you tweeting some political statement or something about masks or something along the lines of trying on your social, of course, to create some sort of awareness about the health issue that we're going through, the pandemic that we're going through, and then at the same time supporting the players, saying absolving the players because that memo didn't come out the day after. You needed a memo? Really? In the midst of a pandemic, global pandemic that has been polarized up and down, left and right. It's been discussed at length across the board for multiple different reasons, for multiple different gains. Medical community, political community, economic community, sports community. Everybody is aware of what's going on here. It's impossible to sell that to anybody that you've been living under a rock or on a different planet the past 8-9 months. What is going through your mind that you would get out there and do that? What is going through right now, back through September 30th, when you reflect on your action, that it was a good idea to do this? It's putting yourself and everybody else at risk simply because you're not a doctor and not listening to the medical/science community is going to put you in a big position. You see, it's not just the typical face or person that you see retweeted 50,000 times on some video in the middle of nowhere, yelling and screaming about not wanting to put a mask on in a Walmart. There are a lot of people who look much different than the person before or the person next to them who aren't following the rules. They're not. And this is an example of it. This is probably one of the weakest excuses we've ever heard regarding breaking protocol or breaking. Forget the NFL protocol. You broke Tennessee. You broke Nashville. You broke United States. You broke global protocol. We all know not to do what you did. It doesn't matter how much money you're making. It doesn't matter what's at stake. It doesn't matter if there's a football game that's supposedly coming up that following Sunday. Everybody on the planet that's been following and paying attention, not everybody as a whole, but people that have been following along and paying attention. Unfortunate, I have to add those two caveats in here, but such is life on this planet nowadays. Knows what you did was wrong. John Glennon, NFL memo dated 10/5, re-banning player gatherings outside facility. Obviously came out after the Titans workout at NBA on September 30th, and that was initially reported by Paul Kaharski. And then Glennon poses this question. The question then is whether the league had previously told Titans specifically not to gather. What are you doing? Why would you absolve? Why would you even begin to go down the road and absolve somebody? I don't care what they are, who they look like, what culture they are, how long their curly hair is, what gender. I don't care if you're violating the protocol, if you're violating common sense that has been mandated by the scientific, the medical community, then you should be chastised. You should be ripped. You should be punished as a result of this. Why is this happening? Why are people that are covering this team inside sports trying to absolve or cover for players who broke a common sense rule? You needed the NFL? Really? What does that say about the players? Are you so far removed from reality about what COVID is? You've been told about what COVID is. For months, you've seen other sports struggle with this. You've been told by your own sport, by your own team, what to do, what not to do. You got caught. You got busted. And as a result, your team is really screwed right now. I don't know where the question then is whether the league had No, it's not. It's no question at all. Who cares whether or not the league told them on 10/1 or 9/29 or 9/30 on the day in which they were practicing? My goodness. Just like we come after the person who refuses to apply any type of common sense based on any type of data and science out there about wearing a mask inside in a large public setting like a big box store, for example. You should be coming down on these players as well. Don't worry. You're not going to lose any political or social points with your own sport community here. You can hold people accountable for not applying common sense during the pandemic. And if you can't, that says more about you than anything else. If you refuse to hold somebody, I don't care if they look like you or if they look the complete opposite. It's much easier when they don't. But if you can't hold somebody personally accountable for their actions that are detrimental and counter to common sense and has been established and provided to us by the medical community, then you should be ripped and not absolved of any of your actions. I am shocked that there are people trying to cover right now, or at least insert this as a cover in this conversation. I gave you the stats. I gave you the data right there in front of this conversation. Before I went full-on blast mode, I explained that this memo came out, and I explained that it's part of the entire conversation, much like Teron Davenport did. And there's a difference between Davenport's tweet and Glennon's tweet. TD provides the memo and the date circled and says this should be factored into the conversation. Important to consider. TD, I considered it. It didn't do anything for me, but I did consider it, and I appreciate it, and I relate it to the audience. Glennon, the question then, whenever you put something like that, you pose a question in that type of phrase, you are automatically, at the very least, opening up the door, if not worse, insinuating on your own that there's doubt, that there's a level of doubt coming down on players here for this. Ridiculous, unfortunate, and shameful, in my opinion. At Shander Show, twitch.tv/Shander Show. Jake Asman on, I thought we muted Jake's account. And here he is weighing in on the stream. Again, twitch.tv/Shander Show, at Shander Show for me. Ron Culver's in the house, at Ron 2N's Culver, 800-224-2004. Felt like a beach day today. So if you're watching the stream, you get to see the beach behind me. I'm not sure which beach that is. I'm stuck on this PlayStation game. It's Port Royale 4. I'm caught on some stupid level on there. So I had the Caribbean in the mind. And that's what I thought. We'll give you a little Caribbean action. All right. Coming up, what this means moving forward for the NFL. At Shander Show, it's the second level on Sports Map Radio.
Where are jobs in radio given out? They're not given out on a college campus. No, they're given out in the real world at real radio stations. And to get a job, you need to know people. That's where Radio Connection comes in. Most schools train you on campus. Radio Connection gives you the opportunity to learn from professional mentors in real radio stations. They've put their private classrooms in these places so you can apprentice under professionals. And as you learn, you're making connections and gaining access to the people that are doing the hiring. This is not the promise of a job, no, but it is a promise to get you as close to the action and opportunities as possible. If COVID is a concern, no problem. You can learn from a radio professional via remote learning tools as well. This is education reimagined to keep you out of debt as you learn in real-world settings. Interested? Visit radioconnection.com for more information today. That's radioconnection.com.
The second level.
Like not even DK Metcalf going full Leon Lett was a bigger blunder than what Doug Peterson did as far as not going for it, as far as not attempting anything. I honestly can't think of a bigger mental blunder from player or coach yesterday across the NFL than what Doug Peterson did.
The second level with Eitan Shander, weekdays from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern.
The Jake Asman Show.
The Jets are just a disgraceful football team so far in 2020. And it starts with this head coach who might be the worst head coach in the NFL. Let's start with the asinine report that somehow firing Adam Gase would be bad for this team, be counterproductive. The Jets have been absolutely abysmal through their first 3 games. They're the only team in the NFL that is yet to hold a lead. They have been outscored by 57 points. The offense is the worst in the league. They've only scored 4 touchdowns. And this brilliant owner, Christopher Johnson, said that Adam Gase is a brilliant offensive mind. The offense is terrible. The defense can't tackle. They never touch a quarterback. I mean, my God.
The Jake Asman Show, weekday mornings from 9 to 11 Eastern.
Stop with the Jeff Van Gundy for the 1,000th time getting every job that's open in the NBA for the last 15 years. The guy's got the cushiest job in television. If he comes back after what has it been, 20 years as a coach, I'll keel over. I mean, he's been offered every job in America. He's been offered the White House, and he turned that down too.
Pharrell Coast to Coast with Scott Pharrell. Weekdays from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern.
I see you're rocking the fedora again.
Yeah, I like it, man. Especially, I haven't shaved my head yet for TV tonight, so looks a little rough.
You're listening to The Second Level on the SportsMap Radio Network.
Presented by Rocket Mortgage. Home loans that fit your life. Rocket can.
From the O'Reilly Auto Parts Studios, with way more than the scores, here's Eitan Shander.
NBA Finals gets a night off, so it's more baseball. I don't think that there's any major debate going on. There's a football game going on, in case you forgot. So there's also this report that came out from Adam Schefter. You know, this is amazing, where if you are a celebrity that people care about, where every single move, like we didn't do this with Tom Hanks, did we? When Tom Hanks announced that he had COVID, did we track his every single movement? Was Adam Schefter or the paparazzi equivalent of Adam Schefter tracking down where Hanks had dinner the previous couple of nights, where he was seen out? I think he was in Australia or New Zealand at the time when the news came, whatever the case may be, but we didn't have this. Idris Elba, didn't he test positive? I mean, was the British paparazzi all over him? Oh, he was allegedly filming a scene for another. What? None of that. Yet here comes. What's that?
In hindsight, we probably should have just followed them everywhere. I mean, into the bathroom. Why not?
Just to make sure that you can contact trace.
Right.
And go back and make sure that you really have enough tracing to determine when Tom Hanks got it or who he came into contact with. That's another thing where we just didn't care that. Oh my goodness. It was heartbroken across social media. The latest celebrity actor, actress who got it. And granted, it was a reaction and that's fine. But I also see the report from Adam Schefter. And again, there is this need to track down so much different information. The dinner report came out. I don't know if you saw this, Ron, but the dinner report is out now, where Shefty says Cam was seen having dinner with, lo and behold, Stephon Gilmore on Friday night. Schefter said, quote, "You know, if you're at a dinner table with somebody who's got the virus, there's a chance, I would think, that you're going to get the virus." Here we go.
The smoking gun.
I mean, listen, this is why, again, the baseline for comprehension on this virus is shocking. If we can magnify and multiply what shocking would be, it'd be shocking. I mean, this is absurd. How do people not know any of this? What have you been listening to? What have you been paying attention to? How is this even a reality? And granted, I'll give Gilmore the benefit of the doubt where they didn't know at the time. Right? I mean, the timeline here was that he tested positive that night. It's not that he was already positive and Gilmore went out like, "No, don't worry about that, man. I'm defensive player of the year. I'll catch anything except COVID." What? I don't know how this was. Again, it's too complex for Adam Schefter to just reduce it to, if you're at dinner table with somebody who's got the virus, there's a chance, I would think, that you're going to get the virus. Really? In your opinion, if you are contagious and you're sitting next to somebody in a closed indoor setting, that person could get the virus as well. Well, thank you. I think all of us truly appreciate that insightful comment about catching the virus. I don't even know what to say at this point. How that is even part of any type of report or information. What we need to know is when in order for that to be compounded, you would need to know when Cam tested positive and then what he was doing before that, which we probably won't know. And if, in fact, there was any indication whatsoever for Gilmore. Otherwise, Gilmore is just an innocent victim in that circumstance, because I guarantee you that anybody who is going out and eating with people, especially in an indoor setting where you're told everywhere that I've seen, of course, where if you're inside and you're at a table, you could take the mask off, you could talk to people so long as you're staying at your table and you are socially distanced 6 feet away from the other table. Well, that's not always the case, especially, and according to Dr. Schefter, if somebody is contagious at that table, then he would think there's a good chance that you can get it, which, of course, we know to be 100% accurate. But it also helps if you know what the conditions are of the people that you're eating with. Again, if Cam is aware of his situation, doesn't tell Gilmore, that's one thing. Cam's aware of his situation, tells Gilmore. Gilmore still comes back out. That's a second thing. Cam, unaware of his situation, goes out to dinner with a teammate, unaware of their situations. One has COVID, the other gets it as a result of that. Okay, that's more of a circumstance of indoor dining. I'm assuming they're eating indoors here. That's more a circumstance of what's happening with where and what you can do right now with this virus. That's not to what we have in front of us, at least. That hasn't condemned Gilmore to anything. And the only way you would really condemn Cam is if he knew ahead of time. If either one of them knew ahead of time, then you can start the condemning. This is not like the Titans, who blatantly ignored the fact that their facility was closed because one of their teammates tested positive. That is completely different. You can't treat the two the same by a minute. It has to be separated by a lot. It really does. All right. Saw this push for more bodies in the seats. I'll tell you why it's become a misnomer, at least for me, coming up next. We'll get you ready for Thursday Night Football, too.
Today, everyone is expecting you to maintain a new level of clean, from customers and employees to students and staff. Cintas has the essential products and services to help you carry out cleaning protocols effectively. We'll keep you well stocked with cleaning supplies, professionally laundered uniforms, and other essentials like face masks, hand sanitizer, and thermometers. Give everyone the confidence they need to keep coming back. Visit Cintas.com and get ready for the workday.
This weekend, get to Kohl's and take an extra 15% off. Save on the Ninja Foodie Grill, now just $279.99. Take 50% off all Serta bedding. Get up to 40% off Sonoma Bath, and so much more. Plus, get a little more for your wallet with Kohl's Cash. Plus, fast and free store pickup. Let the gifting start for those close to your heart. Shop Kohl's and Kohl's.com. Select styles. Offers valid October 9th through 18th. 15% off with promo code LEAVES. Some exclusions apply. See store or Kohl's.com for details.
Hi, this is Jay Farner, CEO of Rocket Mortgage. Making the right financial decisions has never been more important. We can help guide you to those right decisions now, when they matter most. Mortgage rates are near historic lows, so when you call 8338-ROCKET or visit us at rocketmortgage.com to start your refinance, you'll be well on your way to saving money every month. The rate today on our 30-year fixed-rate mortgage is 3.375%, APR 3.59%. Right now could be a great time for you to take some positive financial steps forward with a cash-out refinance from Rocket Mortgage, which could give you the boost that you're looking for. In addition, we may be able to help you refinance with little or no out-of-pocket costs. At Rocket Mortgage, we're committed to every client, every time, no exceptions, no excuses, giving you the best mortgage experience. Call us today at 8338-ROCKET or go to rocketmortgage.com to learn more.
Rates subject to change. Pay 1.875% fee to receive this discounted rate. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLS number 3030.
Pro Extra is the Home Depot's free loyalty program built for pros. Members earn perks just for shopping, like new Pro Extra dollars or tool rental perks. Get exclusive benefits every day that save time and money. And here's an extra, $20 off your next in-store purchase of $200 or more, just for signing up. Want to save? Join Pro Extra, only at the Home Depot. How doers get more done. Visit the Pro Desk in-store at homedepot.com/proextra for details.
Listen up, sports bettors. This is Hall of Famer Warren Sapp here to tell you about my favorite sports book, BetUS.com. Football, basketball, and baseball are all back, and that means it's time to get
Warren Sapp.
Just like me,
Yeah.
BetUS is the Hall of Famer of online betting with more than 25 years in
This
the
is
business.
Warren
Join
Sapp.
now. Get up to 150% in bonuses on your first deposit. I play at BetUS, and so should you. Call today at 1-800-69-BET-US. That's 1-800-MY-BET-US. Tell them Sapp sent you.
Dealing with the root of the issues. It's the second level on the SportsMap Radio Network.
Presented by Rocket Mortgage.
Live from the O'Reilly Auto Parts Studios. Here's Eitan Shander.
Certain things are going to have to stay. And by stay, I don't even mean by stay the same. I just mean certain things with our economic structure are going to have to remain. As virtual as we are, as virtual as we're moving towards a future where, if you want to go Black Mirror or that other show on Amazon Prime, that's like a Black Mirror. It's not even a poor man's because it's really good. But there's the last episode on that anthology has a similar type of look at the future where the majority of us are at home and we're living a very virtual life, but you still have industry and you still have certain structure that needs to maintain. I don't think that all of a sudden we're going to eliminate the trucking industry. It's very vital to how a lot of things move around. And as much as we've seen air travel, and I don't mean commercial, but I mean as far, yes, not people, but actual industry, financial and economic first, that hasn't replaced the just basic need and ability to take something from point A and truck it to point B. But we are moving. With that said, and that little caveat out there, we are increasingly moving towards a virtual world where it's getting to the point where we are much closer. Think about this, to the two extremes. One extreme is life as we knew it before COVID. Much different now. Just look at television. You know, if you're watching shows that came out, which is basically everything because they pretty much stopped production for a little bit. Look at a basic greeting. All right, I'll go full King of Queens on you here. I was watching an episode last night. I'm sure Tony knows it verbatim by heart, where Deacon and Kelly have split. And Kelly meets one of Carrie's coworkers at the movies. And at the end of that interaction, and it's just something that popped up when I was watching it. I barely even had an eye on it. It's great to meet you. Nice to meet you too, Kelly, as he says, slick. But he's holding her hand, another hand over it. And I'm thinking that's not going to be done. That really won't. The only person you might hug and kiss anymore is your significant other or your mother. Maybe your dad, depending on your relationship. That's it. There's no more hugs and hand pounds. There's no more daps. There's maybe a fist bump, but even that can be looked at as awkward if you don't know the person and you have to break some sort of distancing rule. So think of the two extremes right now. One is life pre-COVID, which is a long ways from where we are right now and how we interact and just live on this planet right now. The other extreme is just living an entire virtual life. Now, something like radio, for example, 90% of it can be done this way. Asman is one of the few people that comes into the studio down there and does the show. Now, Ron Culver, Jose, other people are vital staff that need to be in there and physically run a radio station, but you can have everybody do it from home. Everybody can do this with COVID now, especially can do this job from home. And again, this is a great metaphor for what this country is going through, and really what a lot of the countries around the world are going through, which is this transformation. And let me tell you something. Putting a butt in a seat at a football game is not vital. Putting a body in the seat as far as a basketball game next year, not important like some essential personnel that we need. Somebody working at an Amazon warehouse to get you all the stuff that you're ordering online. Somebody producing a radio show physically at the radio station so you can hear the idiot on the mic talk. That's not essential when you're talking about those two versus this example of putting somebody in the seats for a game. The reason why, and this is very important right now, it is a major misnomer. You're going to hear that a bunch. NBA, there's reports now that the NBA may not be able to start next season as early as they want to turn this offseason and flip the new season around. May not be able to start with fans in the stands. Doesn't matter. NFL slowly. I know here in Philadelphia, it's like under 6,000, something like that. I don't even know. It's inconsequential how much you could put in Lincoln Financial Field. Doesn't matter. Now, season ticket holders are thinking, whoa, Shander, what the hell are you talking about? I don't matter. I pay a ton of money every year to sit in that seat. I own a seat license. What do you mean I don't matter? Yes, your money matters, which is why right now, the NFL, the NBA, Major League Baseball, MLS, all of these sports, which is why they're pushing this concern out there. You know, we're really concerned that we may not be able to get you in the stands. We still want you to put a down payment down, or we still may charge you just to keep your line right now in order. But just know that we're really concerned. And what they'll do is they'll squeeze you out. And it'll all be mandated by whatever state you live in. Some will allow more than others. But whatever it's capped at, there'll be a lottery process. There'll be something in order for season ticket holders to get theirs first, and then everybody else trickle-down effect. But I'll tell you, the biggest reason why right now this has become a major issue, or at least presented to you as a fan as a major issue, outside of what may be an obvious conclusion, which is they don't want to push away season ticket holders. Well, screw this. I can't be in the stands for the next 5 years anyway, so I'm going to sell my tickets. They may not have as much demand for somebody right there, right behind them. In certain areas, of course. Philadelphia, good luck. New York, good luck. Boston, good luck. You can lose that spot, you're out. But there are plenty of other places that are concerned if people leave, especially in mass, they may not be able to replace that. So that's the obvious one. The not so obvious one is the leagues have yet to truly, and I say truly, figure out how to monetize the change. They are not there yet. Even the NFL, not there yet. Already the NFL and other sports are dealing with the change of viewer habit, which is you're moving from consuming everything on a cable box to now on a stream. Some of that might even be illegal, the way in which people consume it. They still haven't figured out how to truly monetize that and capture that to a lesser extent, and this falls in line with that. Then would come full-on monetization of everybody at home. If we are truly, which we are, I mean, think about it, the two extremes, back to normal. Oh, you know, that COVID thing, man. Do you remember that? Do you remember those 18 months during that COVID thing, man? That was crazy, man. That was crazy. Yeah, I remember. You know, couldn't hug anybody, couldn't kiss anybody, had to get off Tinder for a couple of months. But, man, that was nuts. You remember all that? You think we're that? Like, you think we're going down that road to where 6 or 7 months, all of a sudden, we're just back to normal? Or are we moving increasingly closer to doing everything from your house? Everything. Yeah, you have a car because you may have to go somewhere. Telemedicine even increasing, like you may need surgery. Okay, well, then you'd have to go to the hospital. But there is a lot going on. I have doctors in my family. There's a lot that has changed with telemedicine alone as a result of COVID. The leagues have yet to truly, and not to say that they haven't at all, but yet to truly figure out how to monetize. Think about this. We've already gone. Look at it like the evolution of music, where you would consume it from a videotape, or pardon me, from a cassette tape to CD to now downloading music from an iPod to now everything on your phone. And you saw that evolution. We've already seen this evolution to where you only had 2 games on if you were lucky a week. And the NFL knew that. And teams knew that. Getting people in the stands was way more important when you could only really monetize your local TV deal or anything that came from where you were on regionally. But as the Red Zone channel, as the NFL package, as the interest in the league itself through online consumption expanded, that's where you have these gigantic TV deals. Remember, the biggest comeback to the baseball is dying argument is, no, it's not. You may not see as many people in the stands, but look at how much money they're making on television. Even with ratings that may not be remarkable, they are still bringing in money hand over fist on these TV deals. And these TV deals are locked up for decades. NFL, no exception. NBA, no exception. NHL, MLS, all in the same category, respectively, with their own TV deals. So we're already down that road in which these leagues figured, wait a second, we can't rely on just 60,000 people and cross our fingers that maybe a couple of million people in this big city that the team plays in are watching as well. Now you don't have to worry about that. Now you see teams that play, especially on a prime time, and there are 4 or 5 markets that are through the roof from a rating standpoint that are nowhere near either of those teams, but they're watching, they're invested, they get it. Regionally as well, you've seen this now with Fox and CBS. The NFL has created another primetime game. Yeah, there might be other games on at 4:20, 4:25 Eastern, but there's a game of the week. And that game of the week is basically everywhere except the local markets of the other game or two that's on. Created a new primetime game. We're not there yet, but trust me, when it comes to figuring out and really mastering how to consume this sport like we all are, a lot of us are, and the NFL figures that out, and then how to monetize it, which is not far off. It's already done that with television 50 times over. It's mastered that to the point where the NFL is one of the few things that's actually working on television. Maybe the only thing that's working on television. I shouldn't say that because Big Brother and that show, oh man, what is it with the Sheldon, that guy, Big Bang Theory. I don't even think they're making new episodes of that show, but still, people love reruns, especially when you knock off reruns of that on TBS to play a baseball game. So the NFL is one of a couple of things working right now. And you'll hear a conversation tonight. We'll talk a little bit about that game coming up to open up the second hour. You're going to hear about it tonight, about fans in the stands and when that's going to happen. You'll read up about it constantly, about the NBA now fighting this issue about fans in the stands or not. Look, as soon as these leagues figure out how to make more and it's not hurting the product, which I really don't think that it's hurting the product. It's just new. This is all new to us. And whenever something is brand new to us, some people are all over it. Some people are very hesitant. And there's usually some polarizing line that separates the two. But right now, at least, we are in the early stages of, as a society, moving towards a 100% virtual life. There's an awesome movie. If you've ever seen it, you probably haven't. I'll tell you about the specifics of it, but I'll give you a couple of minutes to look it up in this break. Try to get an idea of the synopsis of it, because I think that we are so close to living this world out, to living this movie out. It's a Bruce Willis movie called Surrogates. We'll wrap the hour next on the second level.
Pushing the odds with Matt Peralta.
With the president taking a victory lap and then listing the number of states that are going to play college football, you are being so transparent and you are exposing all of your minions in the media who have talked about get politics out of sports. I'm watching sports for a distraction. You're fine with the president doing this. You're not going to hear from them at all about the president getting involved in this topic. So that idea of separating sports, I don't want to hear it. They want it out when it's against them. And so the line between sports and politics is gone. I don't ever want to hear another thing about Black Lives Matter or a guy kneeling in the end zone that distracts you or whatnot, because that is gone. It's no longer a conversation. If you don't like that, okay, I'm sorry, but that's reality.
Pushing the Odds with Matt Peralt, weekday afternoons from 1 to 4 Eastern.
Wake up call! The greatest crime-fighting duo in the early 80s television. Ralph, he couldn't fly with the suit because he lost the instruction manual.
But he was able to solve a crime within an hour.
If you do get a super suit from an alien being, don't lose the instruction manual. Keep it in the drawer where you keep all the other instruction manuals, like for your KitchenAid.
Wake Up Call with Tony D and Ron Culver. Weekday mornings from 7 to 9 Eastern.
Wake up call! This is one of the greatest things I've ever seen in my life. It was so great to see Vin Scully get on Twitter. And when he said just a bunch of friends, I was warmed. I was like, he thinks we're friends.
Yes, I felt the same way.
If I engage in him, we're friends. Vin Scully is fantastic.
Listen, Vince Scully just taking to social media, recording a video for a few minutes, talking about baseball, talking about whatever it might be. I'm all in.
I want to hear him do whatever he wants to do.
I want to hear him talk about dirt, talk about fish, talk about the number 13. I couldn't hit the follow button fast enough.
I know, I couldn't either. I mean, it was so great. The broadcaster I grew up loving was Johnny Most of the Celtics. He was the play-by-play voice of the Celtics. But when you listen to Johnny Most, it was like listening to a guy gargling razor blades after smoking 4 cigars and drinking some scotch. Whereas Scully was like honey dripping down. It was like this voice from heaven.
Wake Up Call with Tony D and Ron Culver. Weekday mornings from 7 to 9 Eastern.
If business, pleasure, or sports fandom takes you to Houston, Dallas, Austin, Fort Worth, or San Antonio, check out CultureMap.com to get the scoop on the local favorites. From the best restaurants, bars, pubs, and clubs to the biggest sights and sounds each city has to offer, CultureMap has it all. Just head over to CultureMap.com. The expert team personally reviews and visits each spot to make sure you get the best experience. And if you're coming back, sign up for free CultureMap updates at CultureMap.com.
Scratching beneath the surface. It's the second level on the SportsMap Radio Network.
Presented by Rocket Mortgage.
From the O'Reilly Auto Parts Studios, here's Eitan Shander.
Now, have you seen that movie? I think I've brought this up before on this show specifically. That's why I asked. Have you seen that Bruce Willis movie, Surrogates? Ron.
What? Sean's bothering me. What do you want?
Sean Mapes?
In his house.
Oh, jeez. Is he coming in to brag about his latest fantasy victory?
Probably. He's skating on thin ice with the company because of that.
Did he beat the boss?
I think he's beaten everybody.
Well, I might stir up some controversy here. Get him in more trouble with the boss for that.
Stir away.
I didn't realize that. Well, I hate to take you away from a very deep and detailed conversation, I'm sure. So you let me know.
No, it's teaching them the importance of, hierarchy in this business. And that when you lay smackdowns on people over and over and over again,
people get tired of that.
People are going to get tired of it. Yeah. They're not going to look too favor.
Now, I won't, because I'm just expecting my tail to get clipped every single week now with this horrific team that I have as a result of my top 2 draft picks being on the IR from like day 2. I got my clock cleaned by you, 147-81. I'm going up against Team Inevitable, which is Andrew Carlson's team, who's 3-1 right now. He just throttled my brother-in-law. This league is out of whack, man. I'm going to cancel it. I'm deleting it.
Yeah, I don't think you can, because then people like Mapes and Carlson might rise up and revolt.
Revolt against who? I'm 2,500 miles away. It can't find me.
You're not that far away from us.
How far is Philadelphia to Houston?
It's not 2,500.
28?
No, 1,700. Let's go with that.
Let's see. Houston to Philadelphia. Now, of course, the first thing I get are flights. But I don't want to flight. I want to drive. I've done Philly to Nashville a bunch. Yeah, 1,547 miles. Good luck. You guys want to come out and revolt against me, you let me know. I'll pay for your tickets. I'll meet you in South Philly.
Hey, just so you know, it's only a 22-day walk.
Look, do you think Forrest Gump could do that?
Oh, and half the time. You kidding me?
Because he'd be running?
Run, Forrest, run.
You think Forrest ever did something like that? I mean, 1547, that's a lot. If Gump was short than that, then they should change the movie. It won't let me play Josh Kelly here.
What are you talking about? The Trump or the Gump dude? Gump do that? Of course he did. He ran across the country 3 times.
No, he didn't.
Yes, he did.
3 times?
Yeah. When was the last time you watched the movie?
Probably in the theater.
Yeah, he took off from Alabama. Then he hit the West Coast. Says when I got there, I just turned right around and kept running. And then he ran all the way to Maine. Then he got there and he's like, well.
Are we sure about
I'll just
this?
Keep running. Positive.
From 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern.
The second level.
The Philadelphia 76ers were so desperate.
No, I had to talk to Sean real quick because I'm going to be out next Thursday and Fridays, and he'll be in covering for me.
Nice. Now, are you doing the morning show?
No.
Oh, okay.
Completely off those 2 days.
Team like New Orleans is, but they're also old enough to kind of be set in some ways like the Rockets are. So Doc comes in, and I don't know if the expectation is he's going to be the young, growing star whisperer, but that must have been a moment in which he was able to convince people, give me more power than just being a head coach. I can't imagine Doc Rivers is coming into this situation with zero control or like 50-50 control over a move like, hey, what's up, let's play Don? Tobias Harris tomorrow.
We
We still have the
Or
same
we
problem,
should've
man.
moved
I
on
just
from
I don't get it. It's so
stuff like
frustrating.
this.
Like I can't imagine every single time, man.
On Sander, weekdays from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern.
Are you thinking that it's time to start looking for a new car? Then go to automotivemap.com to see the latest auto news, find out about what's ahead for your favorite brands, and learn how much that new car will cost you. Automotivemap.com is your place to see reviews, check out the hottest exotic cars, read tales from the road, and get acquainted with the luxury automotive lifestyle. Into hot mods? Want to see the cars celebrities drive? Love a good restoration job? From off-roading to on-roading, automotivemap.com has it covered. Visit automotivemap.com today.
Pushing the odds with Matt Perrault.
Talking to Anthony Tom
That's
of Memphis Grizzlies here on Pushing
frustrating.
the Odds. You were quoted by the commercial.
Thank you. I
appeal as
appreciate your
saying,
help.
We
I
have
just-
to actually stand up, talk about, and
I don't
do
get it.
whatever we can to affect the change that we want to see. Is that what the Bucks did? To do anything that they can do to affect change?
Absolutely. We are athletes. We are entertainers. We are basketball players. But before all of that, we are men. The NBA is comprised of 80% black. There's a reason why the NBA is leading the charge in a lot of these things is because we are 80%. People who seems to be on all these news channels keep getting shot or hurt. They look like me. They look like LeBron James. They look like Steph Curry.
Trying to figure
they look
out,
like us.
like,
So
to
we
play
are
something
like,
here
well,
for 5
what
or
can
6
we
minutes.
do to to spark conversation to help this to stop happening as much as we can.
Pushing the odds with Matt Peralta.
You mean like some elevator music?
No, I mean I can play like
Wake up call.
Monday Night Football was the best.
How much did we look forward
I
to
can
it?
play
Now
a
the
video
show
or
was on at
something
9 o'clock. I had to be in bed
during
by
this
9.
It was on at
6
6.
minute. Like I
That
could
day
play
of
like
the
a
week was
4-minute
always a
video
really
or something
early
like
dinner
that. If
for
I
us.
I'm
just,
gonna go home early.
I mean, I could always
Football
create one ahead of
starts.
time.
I'll be eating it with my TV tray in the living room. Meanwhile, I'm a kid in New Hampshire. Like,
I would just do the Cody Bellinger robbing a home run over and over and over again.
Ron Culver.
Um,
Weekday mornings from 7 to 9 Eastern.
Imagine learning about radio and being mentored by true
Yeah, I guess you
radio
could say that, right?
professionals in real radio stations. Oh, actually,
Could
you
that
don't
work?
have to imagine because they're
Or maybe the Philly special over and over and over again.
one-on-one and be mentored by radio pros. Plus, you don't have
Hmm.
to worry about getting into a crazy amount of debt with school.
Just remember.
What do you have? Like
Their
what
tuition at much
weird,
lower
wacky?
costs. To find out more info, visit RadioConnection.
I should play that stupid video of the guy on the longboard.
you ever
It's
have
gone
buddies that,
viral.
like dated a
There you go.
this is the girl. This is the girl. And you're like, no, it
Oh,
isn't.
man.
This is going to fall apart. Like, I'm waiting for the day you call me to tell me you're done with her. That's Atlanta. Like, no Falcon fan goes, this is it. This is the one. They're like, nah, this is going to end up terrible. I don't care. What are we up? What are we up? 19, 16? It doesn't matter. It's going to end badly.
The only difference is this is your buddy who's been engaged 3 times to 3 different women.
Exactly. Gone registered at the store, right? Picked out a venue, talked to maybe getting a singer and a photographer, and then canceling the wedding. That's the Falcons.
That's the Falcons.
That's the Falcons. Getting right up to wedding time, and then, this isn't going to work out for us. I'm sorry. Yeah, sorry you paid money to come and rent a tux or show up to and bought us a gift, but we're not getting hitched.
Just left
That's
standing
the Falcons.
at the altar.
That's right. That's the Falcons, you pathetic football team.
Wake up call with Tony V and Ron Culver. Weekday mornings from 7 to 9 Eastern.
Coast to coast. What in the Sam hell are we going to do on Christmas Day without 5 NBA games? Look at our family that we don't even like, the people that you don't want to spend Christmas with all day, but you're forced to. We have to keep people separated because of COVID. Now we have to keep people separated on Christmas Day without 5 NBA games. Christmas is the only option.
Pharrell Coast to Coast with Scott Pharrell. Weekdays from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern.
Jay Farner here, CEO of Rocket Mortgage. Making the right financial decisions has never been more important. When you turn to Rocket Mortgage, we can help guide you to those right decisions now, when they matter most. Mortgage rates are near historic lows, so now is a great time to call 8338-ROCKET. And if you need some extra money, a cash-out refinance could give you that financial boost you're looking for. Call today at 8338-ROCKET or go to rocketmortgage.com to learn more.
Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLS number 3030.
This is a Gow Media property in partnership with Jacob Media.
Set your system's volume control for slightly above the normal listening level. Let's go.
Second level thinking is defined as looking beyond the easy, obvious conclusions.
You got to do some smart thinking.
Welcome.
Nothing.
to
I'm
the
back.
Second
I'm back
Level
on. You all right?
On the Sports
I'm
Map
about to be
Radio
back on. Are
Network,
you okay?
A show where we go beyond the box score.
Presented by Rocket
Okay.
Mortgage. Home loans that fit your life. Rocket can.
Yep, I'm good.
Live from the O'Reilly Auto Parts Studios, here's Eitan Shander.
We can't have anything. We can't. We can't have anything good. We can't have anything nice. We can't have any cool story. We can't have anything that would just be a nice little escape from all the nonsense and that we get inundated with on a day-to-day basis. Now there is a theory out there. Ron was the first one to bring this story to me and to this program. Our buddy who was blasting Fleetwood Mac and drinking the Ocean Spray cran apple or whatever the hell the flavor was that he was drinking. And, of course, the video went viral. Ocean Spray hit him up with a bunch of different stuff, products, I imagine. Not a check, I don't think, just a product. So I'm seeing on Twitter there is discussion, and say it ain't so, Joe, that he was using a motorized skateboard. Is that accurate? Have you seen this theory now, Ron Culver?
Oh, it wouldn't surprise me.
Well, doesn't that take away?
Nah.
What do you mean, no?
Nah.
Come on, man. Where is the purity of the longboard?
I think that enhances.
Motorized skateboard.
Now, you just imagine cruising around on a motorized skateboard now.
Well, I think it takes out the true element of what it means to be a skater. And I don't mean like skate or die, but I mean like being able to, like, you need more balance and you need more control of the board. It's like an automatic, it's like one of those auto pianos,
Yeah,
man.
it's not a scooter. He has nothing to hold on to. I think it enhances. I mean, he just cruise. That's his gig now.
Man, I'm telling you, that is a
I will not besmirch
no
a good name.
I'm out on this guy. I knew there was something that didn't seem right initially about this, and he was misleading the public. Fake news.
He never misleaded the public.
He's on a motorized skateboard. It's like one of those pianos that plays itself.
Did he come out and say, I'm on a real skateboard?
Well, he didn't come out and not say it.
No, didn't have to.
Man,
Students and staff
I didn't know that we
expect
were
a
out.
new level of
I didn't even hear the bed.
Cintas has the essential products and services to help you carry out cleaning protocols effectively. Cintas performs surface sanitizer and disinfectant spray services to common touch points, installs and refills touchless hand sanitizer dispensers, and provides commercial laundry services to help minimize employee exposure. Give everyone the confidence they need to keep coming back.
And Mitch from Jersey was on. He'll probably call back in a second.
Okay, yeah, we haven't talked to him in a little bit. It's fine.
Yeah. I'm just waiting for him to call back.
Goes on.
And Staples has everything your student needs at amazing prices, from notebooks to sanitizer, laptops to project boards.
This week, Staples #2 pencils, marbleized comp books, 2-pocket poly folders, and 24-pack Crayola crayons are only 50 cents each.
Shop in-store, pick up curbside, or order online.
School on, save on at Staples.
Ends 10/10 while supplies last. Limits vary online and in-store. Curbside available in most stores.
Yep. This is thought. I had hit the wrong button. I actually dropped him.
Is he back?
Yeah, he just called back.
Okay.
He just wanted to talk COVID and players and
Yeah.
things like that.
Sounds good.
Mortgage rates are near historic lows. So when you call 8338-ROCKET or visit us at rocketmortgage.com to start your refinance, you'll be well on your way to saving money every month. The rate today on our 30-year fixed rate mortgage is 3.375%, APR 3.59%. Right now could be a great time for you to take some positive financial steps forward with a cash out refinance from Rocket Mortgage, which could give you the boost that you're looking for. In addition, we may be able to help you refinance with little or no out-of-pocket costs. At Rocket Mortgage, we're committed to every client, every time, no exceptions, no excuses, giving you the best mortgage experience. Call us today at 8338-ROCKET or go to rocketmortgage.com to learn more.
Rates subject to change. Pay 1.875% fee to receive this discounted rate. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLS number 3030.
The really big fall sales begun at Gap Factory and gapfactory.com. Almost everything 50 to 70% off. And doorbusters start at just $10 right now. Find it all at Gap Factory and gapfactory.com through October 12th.
Change is constant. That's why with Fidelity Wealth Management, your dedicated advisor will work with you to create a personalized plan for your full financial picture. One that can be adjusted as your needs change to help you stay on target. Plus, they can let you know what you're paying for and why. Learn more at fidelity.com/wealth. Investment minimums apply. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC.
You're going on a trip, but where are you going to stay? How much will it cost? Well, it'll cost less by booking on besthotelrates.com. Go to besthotelrates.com, enter your email address, and start shopping for your next hotel room. Besthotelrates.com, it's in the name.
Dealing with the root of the issues. It's the second level on the SportsMap Radio Network.
Presented by Rocket Mortgage.
Live from the O'Reilly Auto Parts Studios. Here's Eitan Shander.
Thursday Night Football. Now, I just tagged you in that. One of the people talking about it. We're going to have to get back into this. This was on Fake News, I believe, with John, right? Was John on that segment? Because if so, we can bring it back with him. But if not, maybe not. I don't know. I just think that, honestly, he cheated. He cheated us all out of a moment of joy. And we deserve, if not an apology, we deserve some sort of ocean spray. He needs to disseminate that throughout the public. And that would be absolving him of his sin. That's all I would say.
So free ocean spray would be absolving him?
It would be close to it.
Come on.
No?
No.
I mean, look. You really have to issue an apology, I think, at just like give me the biggest thing.
As easy as it looks.
Right.
So I mean, there's still some skill involved in the fact that he's just cruising down roads, holding a selfie stick, not really looking ahead to where he's going.
Yeah, because he's on a motorized, the skateboard will do the thinking for him. Come on, man. This is a major Travis. I feel like we've been lied to. This hurts way more than some politician getting exposed on their lie. I'm used to that.
I don't know, man.
Mike Pence or Kamala Harris lies about something. It's like, okay, that's what you do. You wake up as a politician and lie to humans. This guy, I mean, he had such a beautiful, pure moment. And it's ruined now because he was on a motorized. And I'm surprised you, Southern California's own Ron Culver, the home of the longboard, where you would support.
I mean, now he's just cruising along.
Doesn't it take away from the authenticity of it,
Not
though?
really. No, it doesn't.
Oh, man. Honestly, I'm shocked. I'm almost as shocked at your response as I am with what's happened so far here. Seriously. At this point, I don't even know what to do. Now, we are live, as you know, on 1490 AM 1490 Sports Betting Radio, our newer affiliate in Atlantic City. So we're pleased to be back in South Jersey. We'll talk about this Thursday night game coming up, but let's get Mitch in South Jersey up on the line first. What's up, Mitch?
Hey, how's it going? You let me take my mask off?
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, I guess Goodell, he's not a good commissioner. He didn't have the foresight and intuition. I mean, schools can't even be in the same classrooms. They're still out of school, or only going a couple of days a week. And he didn't have the whereabouts. Maybe have the season go into January, have like 3 buys, give yourself some flexibility. And to get, like you say, you have to get tough with these players. They start forfeiting games. I mean, I hate to see where the one buy has already been screwed. It might happen again. I mean, especially Tennessee. It's a very awful year. I'm glad we have football, but it could have been a little smarter. I think it's just all about the money now. I think we should have a second lockdown. That's scary.
Well, look, I think we're already seeing it. And Mitch, always, man, I appreciate your insight here and adding to the program. Thank you, sir. Down in South Jersey. I think we've already seen that. Wisconsin has reverted back to some lockdown type protocol. And despite some areas on this country saying, no, we're not going to move back, you're going to see others, due to circumstance, at the very least, not move forward. But we talked about this a little bit yesterday, and I'm glad you brought this back up because it continues to fall in line with what's happening now with the Titans. But honestly, it's going to take half of the schedule to be out in order for the NFL to truly consider canceling anything. It would take governors in states coming out, which I'm sure are going against a lot of public interest and possibly losing votes, which is not a good thing for a public official, coming out and telling NFL teams, no, sorry, you cannot play right now. And we're not there yet. We haven't been there with baseball. We haven't at all done anything along those lines of shutting something down as a result of a couple of tests. Now, we have 23 members of the Tennessee Titans, from coaching staff to players, and that's a major problem right now. And it's different because we've seen 3 straight weeks of everybody's playing. So now we kind of got used to that. Well, what do you mean? They have to play. Just push it now to Monday. There's a talk again. Stop me if you've heard this before. Talks now about moving this Titans game, this Titans-Bills game, to either Monday or Tuesday, assuming that the Titans could even get into their facility by, Saturday at this point. So I understand your frustration and concern, Mitch. I share it as well when it comes to our country. I will say, however, that the NFL is probably going to be like the last thing to shut down. This country could be invaded. We could be at war defending our own country, and there would be NFL games go on. And I don't even mean that in any type of jest or make light of any situation. That's probably more realistic than not. But just think about that. It's October 8th. Some superpower has now infiltrated and initiated some sort of war with us. Infiltrated the country. We're at war. You see tanks and everything go up and down the streets fighting to save our own communities. You turn on the television and whoever it is, as the president, yelling and screaming and don't worry, don't worry, don't worry. Enough of this. Change the channel. Oh, that's right. Monday Night Football. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. That's what I'm saying, man. This sport, the country will go before the NFL. I've always thought that. And we are closer to this reality, I think, than we've ever been dealing with this pandemic right now. The pandemic will not shut down the NFL. The country will shut down before the NFL does. And I don't mean as far as like you're in your house and you're in quarantine because all of the big box stores are closed now for the next 2 to 4 weeks. I mean, this country is no longer functioning. We are now, whatever classification, first, second, third, we are no longer functioning in our normal capacity. We are crumbling, and you can see evidence of the country physically crumbling. Not one still shot of a building in Minnesota and then some political pundit saying, the country is in ruins. No, I mean, like, you're watching it happen. You still go back and you see an NFL game. I could see that. Definitely a reality right there. People are just changing. Ratings would be through the roof. Are you kidding me? Monday Night Football. And again, like, I wish I could make a joke about this. I wish I could be lighthearted about this, but we're going through a global pandemic. And the NFL isn't even flinching. And I don't even know if that's a bad thing, honestly. I don't even know because we still have no idea about the severity and longevity of this virus, from both how long it's going to be around on this planet to long-term damage it might do to somebody even asymptomatic. There's a lot we still need to know about it. And anybody who's trying to tell you that doesn't have MD or some scientific degree behind their name is just lying or just trying to grab some sort of intelligence points in the room. We don't know. But we are living an example right now of professional sports. But you think all sports are equal? We know all sports aren't equal. Major League Baseball had to concede, if you will, make the smart decision and go to a bubble for the playoffs. NFL might have to do that as well. That's not off the table by any means. They may have to do that. But this is not going to stop. This is not going to slow down. All of a sudden, we're not going to see anything along the lines of a shutdown here. We're not going to see anything along the lines of this sport no longer being able to play. We are not going to see the NFL cancel its season. That's not going to happen. COVID would have to cancel this country before the NFL concedes that it can't play. So yes, I honestly believe that we would need half of a season, like half of a week, not just one game that might be moved. Half of an entire week would have to be moved. Half of an entire week, 8 games, and you have bye teams as well. So something like that, something ridiculous to that nature. That's what would truly cause the NFL to stop and say, all right, now we're in trouble right here. Look, this issue with the Titans is a problem. This issue with the Titans is an issue for the team. It's an issue for the league with the PR and the belief that they'll be able to fix it. And I mentioned Teron Davenport, great follow, not just because he's a Philadelphian, at @TDavenport_NFL, covers the Titans, NFL as well. I'll read you his tweet. Here's the latest regarding the Titans. He put up a column on ESPN. It's worth a read. Here's the latest regarding the Titans player workout on 9:30 and whether or not the organization was told to not have in-person workouts outside of the facility while it was closed. Then I'm reading the headline. Source, Titans informed of rules prior to workout. The Titans were informed on September 29th that in-person gatherings had been banned because of the organization's ongoing COVID-19 issues. Again, John Glennon, anybody else we mentioned that's not named Teron Davenport, foolish and really irresponsible to take any type of responsibility of its own right off the players for violating a rule that was simply violating common sense. Fake news next with Ron Culver on the second level.
Pushing the odds with Matt Peralt.
Hey, is John coming on with this or?
Yeah, he should be.
Okay.
Matt, this is the first time I've ever seen you, because they're watching the live stream. You're not what I thought you looked like.
Oh, boy.
How do you take that?
I would take it as an insult.
Right?
Yeah.
Right?
Because that means before they saw you, they thought you were hideous.
I wrote back to the person like, so how am I supposed to take that exactly? You're not what I thought you would look like. And they're trying to cover it by saying, I figured you were older with that voice. What does that mean? They thought I was older than I am.
You don't have an old man voice. I don't buy that.
I'm 43 years old. Like, how old am I supposed to sound? Like, I don't sound like I'm a kid. Who has an old voice? Like Mr. Burns? Like, the line was, hey, Matt, first time I actually see what you look like. Wasn't my visual! Exclamation point. and then I wrote back, so how do I take that? And the person said, oh, it's all good. I figured you were a lot older with that voice.
Pushing the Odds with Matt Peralt. Weekday afternoons from 1 to 4 Eastern.
Imagine learning about radio and being mentored by true radio professionals in real radio stations. Well, actually, you don't have to imagine, because there's Radio Connection. Radio Connection gives you the opportunity to learn one-on-one and be mentored by radio pros. Plus, you don't have to worry about getting into a crazy amount of debt with school tuition either. Radio Connection keeps their tuition at much lower costs. To find out more info, visit radioconnection.com.
The Jake Asman Show.
I never want to hear about the salary cap in the NFL again. If the Rams could afford to pay the most amount of money to a defensive player in Aaron Donald and the most amount of money to any secondary player in the history of the NFL and Jalen Ramsey, like, I don't want to hear about the cap. The salary cap is just it's like the Subway $5 footlong. It's just a figment of your imagination. If you need to make it work in the NFL salary cap wise, you can make it work. If you're Subway and you want to lie to everyone for over a decade about the $5 footlong, apparently you can do that without any consequence. The salary cap is a figment of your imagination in the NFL, just as the Subway $5 footlong is a figment of your imagination. It's not real. It's fake. You know, the salary cap's monopoly money. The Subway $5 footlong is a hoax. I think I've gotten to the bottom. Anytime I can take a dig at Subway, I got it. My campaign against Subway continues.
The Jake Asman Show. Weekday mornings from 9 to 11 Eastern.
Headed to Texas to watch your team play, but don't know where to go for that pregame drink? Visit culturemap.com for all of the hottest spots in Houston, Austin, Dallas, Fort Worth, and San Antonio. From the most popular bars to those favorite dine-in gems, Culture Map has it all. Then before you leave town, why not visit some of the best places to shop or see some of the sights? Culture Map has extensive coverage on all the things to do in the city you're in. So check out culturemap.com. That's culturemap.com.
So, can I ask you a question?
Fake news with Ron. With all the fake news out there,
Don't believe those lies.
it's on Shander to give it to you straight. 3 stories, but only one is fake.
It's true. I know it's a weird thought, but it's true.
Can Shander spot the fraud? Here's Ron Culver.
Oh, is this a live call to John? Should something be happening right now?
There's a lot of things happening right now.
Should I be saying something or?
No, I was just letting the music play because I knew John would come on really quick.
Okay.
He's usually quick to answer his phone.
Did he?
Unfortunately, I had accidentally left.
I thought you were just
left it potted up. So.
Yeah, I thought you were live calling him.
No, I left it potted up from when we talked to Mitch. I forgot to bring it down.
Gotcha. Well, that's good. At least Mitch didn't say anything crazy.
No.
He never does. We love Mitch.
I hung up on Mitch.
Did you hang up on John too?
I can if you would like me to.
No.
Light.
There's no Doug Peterson press conference to bump us from this. So let's get him in. Let's get him in. Let's get him out.
He's on.
I know. I can hear him in the background. All right, it's your turn, Ron. So you take over.
All right, John, you ready?
I am ready. I don't like you're going to hang up on me, though, Ron.
Hey,
Well, if you didn't answer.
it's not me.
I'll
That's
do that.
Aton. Listen. I'm at Aton's
Be
beck
a
and call.
leader. Be a leader, not a follower.
No, this is his show. I can do that on my show, but this is his show, and if he just chimes in real quick or texts me and says, you know what, John is done. Let's just thing. because you keep beating him too much in fake news. I got to do what the man says.
I have drafted that tweet. I'm just ready to hit send.
The blue check mark put me over the top.
I'm telling you.
Oh,
See,
God.
we might have to ban John now.
Yeah. Seems to be a pattern going on here.
All right.
All right. Story number 1, a boy who has eaten nothing but sausage his entire life. And I'm saying 15 years. He's only eaten sausage his entire life. Has finally been cured.
Full disclosure, I saw that idiot story, so I didn't read it though. So I don't know if you can be cured from eating sausage, so I don't know if that part is true, but I know that story is out there, so I'm going to guess that one is correct.
How are those parents still living and breathing free air?
I have no idea. Basically,
That's child abuse.
No, he's been a picky eater, and he would refuse to eat anything but sausage.
Okay, so then you actually have to become a parent.
I'm just telling you.
I mean,
where
my
where
goodness.
this person's coming from.
Who the 15-year-old?
No,
who
no,
knows
the mother.
best about health? This is like listening to a politician about the virus. You're going to listen to a 15-year-old about a diet?
Yeah, well, she gave way to his pickiness years ago when he was only consuming breakfast-style sausages and water 3 times a day. Even when he would go over to spend the night at a friend's house, he would just sit there and go, "Oh, no, thank you. I'm not hungry today," and refuse to eat whatever they made.
I got to be honest. I would never.
At least the kid is drinking water on top. That
True.
helps. So that counteracts the
And it's
sausage,
and,
I
and
think,
it's sausage.
scientifically.
True.
And sausage is meat.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's meat, right? And she would buy skinless sausage or a brand of skinless bangers.
This is terrible. All right, so John has heard it, meaning it's most likely true.
But he's heard the sausage story, but he didn't know if
You
it's
could have
cured.
altered it. To be fair, you could have altered it.
I said he was cured.
Yeah, maybe he isn't. All right. What's story 2?
Story number 2, a Halloween decoration in Maryland, in a Maryland parking lot, turns out to actually be a dead body. People were driving by asking, like, "Man, look at that. It looks so real. And how did they get the flies to just kind of keep buzzing around it?" And finally somebody decided to investigate and actually saw that it, in fact, was a dead body.
Where was this?
In Maryland.
Yeah, I'm saying, like, was this on the side of the street? Was this
No,
out
it was
on
in
somebody's
it was in
house?
a bar and a closed down bar parking lot, which I thought would have been a telltale sign, right?
Yeah.
So either they're not that bright there, they just don't care, or I don't know, maybe not enough people, not enough of the right people saw it.
Yeah, I guess. John, you have nothing on this, do you? Any insights? Did we lose John McMullen? I think we did. Was he going over the bridge? I didn't even think there was.
I don't think no.
Well, we definitely lost him. I think what happened is McMullen knew the first story. He thought, "What is this? I'm out." Hung the phone up and just moved on. It's not even challenging for John anymore since he knows a third of the stories now.
God, what happened? Maybe
he had enough. I think he got it right. Right. I mean, where do you go from there? You walk off, right?
I do. I got to call him back.
Okay, that's it for me. You've been great, everybody. Have a great night. I mean, you go off on a high note. John McMullen just went out on a high note. I don't think we've ever had this done before in the history of fake news. We've done fake news with McMullen, with others as well. We did it with Harry Mays. Not even Harry would walk off on a high note. I got to tell you, that was some great theater right there. I did not anticipate that. As somebody who likes to describe themselves as a fan of the Andy Kaufman level humor.
All right. John is back.
Now, John, are working.
John hung up. I think your theory is right.
Yeah, John, you just walked off. You went off on a high note. You nailed the first story, and you thought, what's left?
You can only go down from there. Now, I assume you guys dropped me. I have top of the line Verizon service, so I'm going to blame you guys for that.
Okay.
I'm going to blame Aton.
That's fair too. It's
Yeah,
always an
I
easy one.
believe Aton dropped the phone line. That's what we determined 1,700 miles away.
Yes, 1756 away. All right, so that's story 2. Now story 3.
Story number 3. A postman. Sorry, I was all messed up here. A postman in England has had enough with delivering mail to one of his customers because they have a dog who is very much ready to go, if you know what I mean.
In heat?
Yes. Well, but I think it's the male version. I don't think a male dog can go into heat. That's usually a female dog. So I don't know what the term is for a male dog going in. It's just normal, I guess.
Yeah, probably just being a male.
Yeah, but it's a larger dog, about like a Rottweiler. It's like they said it's a Rottweiler.
Well, real quick, I got to hear too because you guys dropped me before too.
Oh,
So I got to decipher.
Story 2, there was a Halloween decoration in Maryland that people thought looked really lifelike, and it turned out it was actually a dead body.
And this was at a rundown old bar. It wasn't on somebody's front porch
Right.
or anything like that.
So they just left him on the stool, huh?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
So we got a dog in heat versus a guy left on stool in bar.
Or a
I'm
kid
gonna
who ate a ton of sausage.
Well, the sausage one, I think, is true, unless you
Yeah, that's a cruel thing to do to alter
I'm
that
not
sausage
gonna
story.
Throw a curveball like that.
Yeah, not on the sausage story.
No, not on a sausage story. That one's
I mean,
bizarre enough.
I gotta believe even in the shadiest of bars, someone would notice a dead body. There's some kind of stink. So I'm gonna go number 2 is the fake
Now,
story.
story 3, though, has some legs to it. I don't know. Why are you so off story 3?
Oh, me?
Yeah.
I'm not off it. I don't see that as. I have no firm grasp on which one is fake and which one isn't. I could buy either of them, but I can buy dog in heat more than like how often is the dog in heat? Is it consistent? I can see both of these, but
So I could
having
see.
heard-
All right, you lock into 2. I'm going to lock into 3. Ron will tell us who's right, but I could see this thing happening like in Ron's life at some point. Like his neighbor had this happen to him, and
Which one? The dead body? Or the dog?
no, the male person and the
All right,
dog.
well, as you guys know, the sausage story is true. He was cured through hypnosis.
Ridiculous.
And had fish, and his mom cried. As far as so it really boils down as the winner to this week, and the winner is Aton.
Look at that.
There
I'm
actually
in
was a
trouble.
dead body outside of a rundown bar.
Of course there was.
Making the right financial decisions has never been more
Of
important.
course there was.
We can help guide you to those right decisions now.
In Maryland.
It's near historic lows.
Where in Maryland? Do we know?
White Marsh.
At rocketmortgage.com to start your refinance. You'll be well on your way to saving money every month.
Yeah, it was at a rustic inn in White Marsh outside of Baltimore.
It's
APR
amazing.
3.59%. Right now could be.
Police responded and discovered the dead body, which had trauma. They don't go into detail, just had suffered trauma.
With little or
The passerbys thought that they spotted a really good Halloween decoration.
Yeah, think about that.
I mean, that's usually the start of like some haunted, scary story, right?
Yep.
rocketmortgage.com to learn more.
Rates subject to change. A 1.875% fee to receive this discounted rate. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLS number 3030.
This is time that matters. A window of time to help protect the ones you love. Your preteen benefits from staying up to date with their well visits. This is your window of protection. Schedule their well visit now. Brought to you by Merck.
Every 2 minutes, a woman in the U.S. is diagnosed with breast cancer. And in that moment in time, her life changes forever. We're fighting alongside patients because we know one moment can change a lifetime.
This weekend, get to Kohl's and take an extra 15% off. Save on the Ninja Foodie Grill, now just $279.99. Take 50% off all Serta bedding. Get up to 40% off Sonoma Bath, and so much more. Plus, get a little more for your wallet with Kohl's Cash. Plus, fast and free store pickup. Let the gifting start for those close to your heart. Shop Kohl's and Kohl's.com. Select styles. Offers valid October 9th through 18th. 15% off with promo code LEAVES. Some exclusions apply. See store or Kohl's.com for details.
How can Staples help you get back to business?
By printing you new signs for the times.
Staples can help prepare your business for the new normal with everything from in-store signage to health essentials like masks and hand sanitizer, and all at amazing prices.
And this week at Staples, get $15 off posters or yard signs when you spend $75 or more.
Save big this week at Staples.
Ends 10/31. Exclusions apply. Limit one offer per customer. See store associate or visit staples.com/signage for details.
You're going on a trip, but where are you going to stay? How much will it cost? Well, it'll cost less by booking on besthotelrates.com. BestHotelRates.com works with all the top hotels in the country while delivering you great hotel and room choices for the best prices. Why wait? Go to besthotelrates.com, enter your email address, and start shopping for your next hotel room. BestHotelRates.com, it's in the name. BestHotelRates.com.
You're listening to The Second Level on the SportsMap Radio Network.
Presented by Rocket Mortgage. Home loans that fit your life. Rocket can.
From the O'Reilly Auto Parts Studios, with way more than the scores, here's Eitan Shander.
All right, let's get to the big story right now in the National Football League, and that's what's going on down in Nashville with the Titans. We also know there is continuing report, I guess multiple now, reports coming out from New England and even in Kansas City. Looks as if certain teams are good to go. The Titans, the only one that's really in question. We heard earlier the Chiefs and Raiders reported no new positive tests. So now it's all about the Titans. And John McMullen, our NFL insider at JF McMullen on Twitter, courtesy of Jacob Media, looks like more positive tests are coming out. And one thing, and I know it's not the sole focus of the NFL's investigation, John, but one thing that seems to be in question is whether or not the players worked out at a high school following the closing of their facility before, during, or after the NFL came out with a notice forbidding that. And I'm thinking, how are we at a point right now where anybody can claim ignorance of this virus, hiding behind, well, we didn't get a memo that specifically outlined what we can and can't do? I mean, doing what they did would be violating common sense in some areas.
Yeah, I agree with that, but I do see both ends of the argument. If you want to look at it from a prism of a player, and there's no question, I think it's more of a personal responsibility thing. And we've talked about this from the start. I mean, you're going to keep yourself safest by doing some pretty obvious and common sense things that we've been talking about ad nauseum for months now. So, yeah, that part is understandable. On the other hand, I do think we're back into this shaming spiral. And I remember talking about it when it started with Matthew Stafford and the false positive. And people are shouting down his wife at the Costco. I mean, I don't know what people think they're trying to accomplish by the shaming. From the NFL's perspective. And by the way, I don't even have a problem with fans doing it. I have more problem with reporters who should know better. I mean, you understand the NFL has to deal with the NFLPA. So you see these draconian punishments. Oh, they should make them forfeit games. They should take a first-round pick away, a second-round pick. They should fine them $500,000. Any of these people ever heard of a union?
Right.
You think they're not going to push back on that?
Well,
so it's a much more difficult and layered problem than people think. But I think as a whole, and I've talked about this ad nauseum as well, the NFL knew there was going to be positive tests. And this is a larger societal issue. Either you want to move on with life or you don't. These are 25-year-old, for the most part, healthy adults, understanding. Look, they have to be very careful to protect people less immune to this virus, for lack of a better word, because there are people outside the facility that could be affected as well. And that's the difficult hurdle. It's always the difficult hurdle. But the question should be, how do you get over that hurdle? Not shaming everyone. That's the part I can't stand.
Okay, so where is the discernible difference between holding somebody accountable for an act that they did where they should have known better versus shaming? Because I agree with you. There should be a difference, and we should be able to hold somebody accountable for something they've done that's violated common sense at the very least without going full on shame mode. But I do know also that in today's day and age, especially as we rely so much on social as far as how to interact with somebody else, that line has been muddied and blurred and is all gray right now, which is a bad thing.
Well, I think, and it is a difficult problem. I'm not trying to say there's an easy solution. For instance, we could go back retroactively. We could talk about the offseason when the league told players not to work out on their own. There were dozens. There were pockets of players that ignored it and did it anyway. Tom Brady being the most notable. Obviously, that defied common sense as well. Nothing came out of it. So really, to me, Eitan, you're judging results. So if you want to judge results, instead of being negative 150% of your life, if that's possible, I never thought it used to be possible. Now it is. Instead of being negative, point out, you know what? The positive part of this is the Titans played the Vikings. Obviously, some people were infected, and there was no infection on field during game. There's still not any contact tracing that points to in-game transmission of the virus.
Well, doesn't that make it worse?
Positive.
No, but I understand, but doesn't it make it worse from the Titans standpoint, which is they are more of a risk to themselves now? Like, the only people who should really be upset, I think, are Titans fans and people that are connected to that organization. If you're a Steelers fan and you're just piling on, then I agree, but there should be some room to hold these guys accountable for violating something.
But what I'm trying to say is you're holding them accountable for contacting the virus. In other words, they did the same thing as dozens of other players did previously that didn't contact the virus. So in essence, you're punishing people for contacting a virus or punishing people for being whatever adjective you want to use.
Well, hold on a second. John, real quick. It's not patient zero. We don't know how. That's part of this investigation. We don't know how the virus came into the building. But what we do know, at least on the surface here, is the building was shut down. There was a positive test. And after the fact, players still got together and practiced. That's the one sole small element that I continue to focus on, which is after the building is shut down. I don't know how this person got it initially that caused the spread. It could have been an accident.
But that's the point I'm trying to get at. Why is that different than somebody else, whether it's the Dallas Cowboys having parties or it's people working out, as I mentioned, Tom Brady being the most
Oh, no,
notable.
it's not. And we ripped the Cowboys and we ripped Brady to shreds for that.
But the difference is nobody's asking you to punish the Cowboys because, for the most part, nobody got sick. And now you're asking, I'm saying not you personally, but I've seen this over
Sure.
and over again. Fine the Titans, take away draft picks, force them to forfeit games. I've seen this time and time again. So that line of thinking is simple. You're punishing those who get sick versus those who do the same stupid thing and don't get sick. And I think that is the height of hypocrisy. And it's rooted in shame. These people want to shame people.
Well, yes,
I don't understand it.
I agree. I think when you take it to the step of punish and punish and punish, but there needs to be an investigation, in my opinion, and there needs to be some sort of understanding of what happened here so that if, in fact, somebody else gets sick, which we know somebody will get sick, and it may not be to their own fault, and that's another big problem I have here in this country is people getting COVID, it's now been politicized. As somebody who gets COVID now, it's because of their own fault. That's not necessarily the case. We know that not to be necessarily the case. But I also think that this is more equivalent, to me at least, and this is the analogy that I would draw, is if you are in an area that allows indoor dining, there's a restaurant where somebody you know had COVID, went there, and the next day you go in to eat. It doesn't mean that the person who got COVID in that restaurant was at fault or anything along those lines. We don't know how they got it, but what does it say about your own personal decision-making that you would go back in that restaurant, that you would have a private practice the day after everybody was told to?
Well, and that's fair to say. And again, if you want to bring it on an individual level, and this league does tremendous contact tracing, and I've had that stupid contact tracer, and it tells you it beeps. And when you go within 6 feet of people for too long, you get the beep. So they know who was around everybody at all times. They're doing all those things. And that's the reason they haven't had as many positives as they probably, as everyone, and certainly me, and I think everyone assumed they would get. But you bring up another point, and that's the bigger point, is it's politicized. And you can tell by the way people talk about this issue, whether they're blue or red. You can tell. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But you can tell.
Yeah, it's true.
And that's the hypocrisy of it. That, to me, is the hypocrisy of it. Because if you want the Tennessee Titans punished, fine. Okay. The draconian punishments that you brought up, then punish everybody else that did the same thing, that didn't get sick. But you don't want to punish the Tennessee Titans for being stupid. You want to punish the Tennessee Titans for getting the virus. That, to me, doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
All right, John, big question here for you. Do the Bucks cover a now bet down 3.5-point line tonight against the Chicago Foles?
Yeah, I got to believe so. I mean, that's
they're pretty banged up.
Yeah, I mean, they are, but I mean, the Bears are a terrible football team, and 3-1 understood. We talked about it. We joked about it. The first 3-0 team in NFL history to have a quarterback controversy, and if anything, the quarterback they have is worse than the quarterback they were playing before. So I think you're going to see this jockeying back and forth, understanding nobody knows Nick Foles better than people in Philadelphia like us. He can always get hot on any given game day, and that could skew it. But we've seen enough. The sample size is large enough to say on the average night, he's not going to have it. And he hasn't had enough time to develop chemistry with those receivers to have one of those games where he plays lights out.
It's amazing to see that. If in fact the Bears are able to pull this thing off, I give up. I don't know anything about this league at all by any means. All right, let's.
Nobody does. I mean,
on your way out.
I couldn't pick an Eagles game to save my life.
Well, I'm about to have you do that. It's the battle for the state of Pennsylvania, the Steagles game. Eagles Steelers 7-point line. This opened up as an 8-point line, was bet down in like 3 hours to 7. I just want to know if you think the Eagles can cover on the road.
I don't think so. I mean, Pittsburgh, you get that 3-0 record is a little obviously that scares you, but then you look at it, it's the Giants, the Texans, the Broncos. So I mean, you give them credit for taking care of business and what they were supposed to do, the Steelers, but it's not as impressive as that 3-0 looks. On the other hand, if the Eagles are counting on Cre'Von LeBlanc and Travis Fulgham and Alex Singleton to make plays for him to beat Pittsburgh, it's not going to happen. So I just think the Eagles, and you think about it, Jordan Mailata having his first game, but Nick Bosa wasn't there. Well, this week, T.J. Watt and Bud Dupree are there.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a great pass rush. I don't think the Eagles are going to be able to block them.
Awesome stuff, John. From COVID to the Steelers, we covered everything, including Brady in between. Have a great weekend, my friend. We will chat on Monday. Enjoy the games.
All right, thanks, Eitan. Appreciate it.
You got it. Our NFL insider, fake news expert, John McMullen at JF McMullen, courtesy of Jacob Media. We wrap the hour next on the Second Level.
Sports Map all night.
I absolutely loved the decision by Matt Nagy. I thought it was a winning move. It sends the clear message as to what your team and what your football culture is going to be about. It's going to be about winning, and it's going to be about competition. Facts are facts, man. Mitch Trubisky was not playing well enough to deserve being the starting quarterback of the Chicago Bears at the point in time when the move was made. And also, look at the numbers. They aren't eye-poppingly great from Nick Foles either. But there was a palpable difference in the tempo of the game, the speed of the offense, the flow for the Chicago Bears, honestly, on both sides of the football. Once Nick Foles took over as quarterback midway through the third quarter, it was clear that they needed to do something. And Matt Nagy took a huge step yesterday, making a franchise-altering decision that also happened to be the one that helped you win the game on the football field.
Sports Map all night with Bill Schmidt.
Weeknights at 10 Eastern.
Stop with the Jeff Van Gundy for the 1,000th time getting every job that's open in the NBA for the last 15 years. The guy's got the cushy job in television. He got, what has it been, 20 years to coach. I'll keel over. I mean, he's been offered every job in America. He's been offered the White House, and he turned that down too.
Farrell Coast to Coast with Scott Farrell. Weekdays from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern.
Wake up call. Starting with the Arizona Cardinals hosting the Washington Redskins. Oh, come on. Dwayne Haskins. Kyle Murray. Come on.
No, you were wrong there.
Why?
The Washington football team.
Did I say Redskins?
You did.
I should find myself a dollar every time I do it this season.
That's $1 in the old
so I'm
R
going to
jar.
put that in the R jar at the house, and at the end of the season, I'll see how much I have.
Probably would pay for your fantasy football league.
You're
fees.
probably right, because I'm not going to win this year. Because my number one pick, Michael Thomas, has an ankle injury that's probably going to plague him all year.
Probably.
Remember when we talked about Kevin Durant in basketball? We were like, when is he coming back from that? It's going to be like that. Michael Thomas is just going to be out every game, but every week you're going to be like, he could come back. He's looking better. And then Sunday, he's not playing. It'll be like that for 9 straight weeks. All right, so $1 is in the R jar because I mentioned Redskins.
Wake up call with Tony D and Ron Culver. Weekday mornings from 7 to 9 Eastern.
Wake up call.
Oh, man.
The only issue with Tampa winning the Stanley Cup, they may not get a parade out of it.
Boo-hoo. Now, the guy that has to travel with the cup, what is his COVID protocol? That thing has been around everywhere in every possible scenario.
This cup has seen things.
A gallon of Smirnoff vodka, 2 strippers, and the Stanley Cup meets a long night for the curator of the cup.
Wake up call with Tony D and Ron Culver. Weekday mornings from 7 to 9 Eastern.
Scratching beneath the surface. It's the second level on the Sports Map Radio Network.
Presented by Rocket Mortgage.
From the O'Reilly Auto Parts Studios, here's Eitan Shander.
One for the road before we get out of here. And remember, Thursday night football tonight. Bucks down to a 3.5-point road favorite. Have to agree with John. Tough to see the Bears do anything there. All right, my friend. How should we end the program?
One for the road?
Yeah.
All right. I got one for you. Tour favorite. Probably a favorite of yours. Favorite of mine. John Daly.
Okay. I remember
him, right?
John.
Well, he was playing in a charity pro-am the other day. And then he steps up. I'm going to get the yardage perfectly for you here.
No.
He steps up to a par 3, which is about 121 yards from the white tees.
What did he use? A putter?
I used a wedge. And he hits a hole in one.
Is that right?
Barefoot.
How many hole-in-ones
Cigar
does
in
John
mouth.
have, do you think?
Well, funny you should ask that, because he turned just before he realized that somebody was videotaping it, stopped short by saying, I have 11 of these mother.
Really?
Yeah.
So that was his 12th?
No, that was his 11th.
Who, man, see, now I'm interested in who has the most hole-in-ones on the PGA Tour of all time.
Well, I mean, this isn't a PGA Tour.
No, I know, but he played pretty well
Yeah.
for a little bit of a stretch on tour. That's crazy, man. John Daly. And of course it's a par 3, and of course he's using a wedge. Like he's probably using like a 60-degree lob wedge.
But also, of course, he's barefoot with a cigar in his mouth.
What course was this? Do we know?
It was I had it here, Federal Club in Glen Allen, Virginia.
Glen Allen,
Yeah,
Virginia.
he was playing in the Bone Frog Open, which is a charity program benefiting the families of fallen Navy SEALs.
I wonder, that's a really good cause. I wonder how big he was on the list of pros in that pro-am.
It might be huge. He had a pretty good fall. And when he hit it, he knocked it in. He turned around like it was nothing.
Oh, I'm sure. Well, you hit 11 of them.
Yeah.
You become numb to it, Ron.
It was the people watching him who got hyped up and started congratulating him that he finally got excited about it.
Finally, he's like, I should probably do something here. If I
probably-
want